Relationships are a quintessential part of life. You can't avoid them. Join me, I'm Jo Wilson, the Relationship Rejuvenator, and I'm here to inspire you with some great tips and tools, and today it's called the 5 Love Languages. It's a concept that's actually been around for a while, and it's one of those that many of my couple clients say, I wish I'd known this in one of my first marriages, or I wish I'd known this a long time ago. So wouldn't we all like to look as happy as this couple? So let's have an insight as to what could contribute to health and happiness into your relationships. So what would I know? I am a relationship therapist and have been in private practice for very many years. I also write a weekly relationships column in the newspaper and talk about these columns and co-host radio every week on Salt Radio 106.5. I also have been a neuropsychotherapy tutor at university and love integrating that into relationships when we talk about how we trigger each other and what's happening in the brain. I've also gone as far to even go down to our local beaches to ask people what they believe is the key to a thriving and dynamic relationship, and also have collated a book called Pearls of Wisdom from the Thriving 30s, where I ask couples that have been married 30 years and over what their key was to a harmonious marriage. So I can't wait to share more of these concepts with you. So your journey does start here at therelationshiprejuvenator.com. So the 5 love languages is from the 90s. It was designed and written by Gary Chapman, who was a relationship therapist himself. And since then, 12 million copies sold worldwide, and it's been an overwhelming success. Now, at this point, it's not going to solve and fix your relationship today, but it's certainly going to be a wonderful tool that's going to contribute to it. So today I'm going to talk about why it was introduced, what are they, and how do you find out yours, and how can you start using it? Okay, so the whole idea behind this is asking yourself, am I on the same playing ground as my partner? Do I have the same love language as them? Am I expressing their love language versus mine? It's worth stopping and considering. So they are words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. And I'll just step through what each of those are. So when I'm in couples therapy, I go through some handouts such as this one, and we talk about all the different types. So just as an example, quality time could be running errands for your partner, taking trips together, it's doing things together. It could just be sitting talking at home. And what that person would not like is interruptions. They wouldn't like to have been dismissed. They prefer one-to-one conversations. And if they get too much time in isolation, if they are ignored by their partner, if there's too much time when you're separate, even if you're in the same house, this person could be affected. They can actually change after time. I've just added this slide in because before children, your love languages could change significantly. So before children, you might like words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and touch. After children, you want silence. You want uninterrupted sleep. You want to shower and go to the bathroom without an audience. And you might like a laundry service and no one to touch you unless you ask. So just being aware that they are changeable. Let's go through a couple of examples. So acts of service is when couples or an individual might prefer their partner to make them a cup of tea at night. They love the ritual of knowing that at the end of the hard day that they can rely on their partner to do that for them. They might actually prefer their partner to wash the car for them or just ask them, how can I help you? This can speak such amazing words of appreciation into this person. So if you can just be mindful of considering, is this yours or is this my partner's? And we're going to work out how you find out later on. An example of words of affirmation. So some people might prefer to hear, I love you. They might prefer to hear that they're a wonderful mother. They might prefer to hear that they have great muscles. They might like it written in cards. They might prefer it on a text message or on WhatsApp. They might prefer a beautiful note left on their car dashboard. They basically love to hear it. So the worst thing that you could do is say, I told them last year that I love them. it doesn't really count. This person who appreciates words of affirmation needs them regularly. Also, quality time. Again, it could just be being in the same house together, but you don't necessarily need to be right next to each other. It's just knowing that that person is around. It's really important to specifically ask yourself, what types of quality time do I like? Or what types of spending time together has my partner really valued? Some people like to walk on the beach, some like to hike, some people like to code together on their computers. Some people like to garden together. Whatever it is, quality time for you could be different for me. There's also gifts. Now, for the non-gift person, this might feel very, very materialistic. So what gifts could be is just a concept that you felt that that person thought of you that day. It could be a loved heart-shaped rock that they found. It could be something quite extravagant. It could be a piece of clothing. It's very individualistic, but what is gifts to each person can be quite different. Physical touch. You know when you're starving for affection, when you're looking forward to your next medical examination. So I don't mind what it is. Again, this actually isn't about sex, but some people are so craving for the warmth of their partner that they're just so longing to have them stroke them, to cuddle them after work. Some people might really appreciate that in the morning or when they see them. So just think again about specific examples of how you personally like to be touched. There's no right or wrong here, as long as it's not too weird. But again, it's so specific. And the worst thing that this person could experience is a person who withdraws that touch or won't go near them. So how do you find out your love language? If you go to the lovelanguages.com website, you simply need to personalize it. You pop in your email address, it'll ask you whether you're a male or you're female, and you proceed to answer the questions. They are so simple and straightforward. It's actually better if you read the book. There are so many books that they've now put out. There's the love languages for children, there's love languages for teenagers. You can find out the love language for your child, but head to the website, and then what you need to do is simply find out your emailed results, that it'll email you back. And then the idea is that you will email that to your partner if you're in a relationship. So you generally find that there are one or two love languages that stand out at the top. Now, the important thing I suggest for each couple is that they provide specific examples of what each of their love languages means. So if mine is words of affirmation, do I like to prefer that I hear that I'm pretty, or do I like to hear that I'm a great mum? Do I like to hear it in face-to-face words, or do I prefer a nice little text message? It could be all of the above, but it's quite specific to you. Again, if it's touch, if it's time, whatever they are, go through and provide specific examples so you can help your partner out. It can feel actually quite uncomfortable if you're sitting with yourself and wondering, what sort of quality time do I like? What type of words of affirmation? What type of acts of service have really filled up my love cup? But really bother to find out. And then I'm asking you to then swap them. And then in the coming weeks, really make that effort to provide your partner's love language, because where we can go wrong is when we actually show our own love language. We end up flying at different altitudes. And this is where I say that we're not operating in the same playground, because I could be showing my husband that I love him through gifts when he wants to hear the words. And so that is such a beautiful gift to your partner when you can contribute and inspire your own relationship by providing their own love language, not yours. When both couples do this, the magic happens. And this is for forever. This is a lifelong commitment to providing your partner's love language. And even if it's not yours, be patient with yourself. And when you're trying to express love that is quite foreign to you, please be persistent. It's worth it. So thank you for listening. Again, head to therelationshiprejuvenator.com and you can find out more of these tools and tips that can inspire your relationships. So I'm sure, like many, you found that so useful. And so check out relationshiprejuvenator.com for more tools and strategies coming your way to inspire your relationships.